Hi Dharma Circle, Swati here, the embodied Dharma coach. Should you do this alone? Let's talk about this. I have a curious question for you and some reasons why I feel strongly that we should not walk alone on our spiritual path. But I meet so many who are isolating and feeling alone, don't have community around them specifically for their spiritual path. And I wonder if you're one of these lone wolf types who tends to walk alone, feel isolated, not have community and support around them. So should you walk alone? And is it possible to walk alone on your dharmic path without community, without a circle of support around you? And here's why I believe that it is vital that we have community and guidance and resources surrounding us as we deepen, strengthen, expand our spiritual path and our spiritual growth. I do believe that for certain parts of the path, we tend to be alone. Many of us are contract workers. We came here to do the work of the ancestors in very specific ways. And that loneliness, that isolation, that sense of grief around not having community can be a catalyst. It can be the spark that pushes you into birthing in many ways and growing. So I think there is a purpose for the grief and the loneliness and the isolation, the sense of not having your community around you. But there gets to be a point on the path where in order for us to truly blossom, expand, awaken, especially on the level of our gifts and our self-trust and our inner knowing, it is so vital to have the mirror and the constant, consistent holding and support that we are safe, we are enough, that we have value, that our gifts are valuable, that we have a purpose and a meaning in this world that is beyond the mundane. And I was having an interesting conversation with a client today, and we were talking about the spiritual path and the path of self-trust. And the difference between being told what to do versus sourcing from yourself and your own body wisdom. And there is a big difference. Many of us, and I would say the majority of this world, orients towards being told what to do, meaning we are conditioned to actually source outside of our bodies, outside of the self, in order for answers, solutions, and right way versus wrong way, that we are sourcing outside of ourselves. And most of the systems of harm that we've been conditioned with actually condition us to source outside of the body. And that is very different than a dharmic path. The dharmic path requires that you source from within, that this is an individual path, meaning that how you experience spirit, how you experience intuitive knowing, how you sense, how you feel this self-trust and this inner knowing, that is extremely individual. It's an entirely individual experience. It cannot be told to you. It cannot be, something that someone tells you how it's going to look or feel. And that's one of the reasons why many people will not step onto the dharmic path. They won't actually move in the direction of their wholeness. And that's because it requires that you source from within and that you are deeply connected to your own inner knowing. And not everyone has that inclination. Not everyone has the guidance the tools and the support to do that. And that's one of the reasons I am so passionate about my Dharma mentorship process, because it gives you the opportunity to have that safe holding, support, and containment as you develop this strengthening inner knowing, self-trust, sensing, feeling, honoring how you experience spirit in your body, how you experience self-trust and inner knowing in your body. Again, it's a very individual thing. So we have to have guidance for that. And that's where being alone can be counterproductive and not very helpful. We can get stunted on the path. We can get stuck more easily. And the isolation and the loneliness actually starts hindering our ability to deepen our inner taproot. So it's one of the reasons why I offer Dharma mentorship to those bodies that identify as women, and why I have a community of women who are all walking a similar path, meaning that the intention that they have for their life is wholeness. And that's actually my definition of Dharma. My definition of Dharma is about wholeness. And nourishment comes from wholeness. Dharma is the path of awakening your own inner nourishment. And what I mean by wholeness is integration of all of your parts rather than fragmenting yourself. One of the things that these harmful systems and the conditioning of sourcing outside of the self actually creates is that we fragment ourselves in order to fit in or feel safe or get love or even make money. And the fragmenting of ourself becomes harmful. A lot of this is a result of trauma, in fact, that we fragment in order to stay safe in the body. So fragmentation will look like, this part of me is acceptable over here, but I have to hide this part of me. Or I can share these gifts that I have, but I can't tell anybody that I have these gifts. Or not everyone can see these gifts because it might not be safe. So I want to invite you to consider where you're fragmenting yourself and why you are not feeling whole or nourishment on your life path. Where are these parts of you that are acceptable to be seen and heard and noticed and witnessed? And what are the parts of you that you tend to hide or keep hidden from visibility, or even family members, certain relationships, and maybe even you have a career path, and so certain parts of you are acceptable or allowed in that environment, but you keep so much of your creativity and your mysticism to yourself. So this fragmentation becomes very harmful, and it keeps us from our wholeness and our deep, deep nourishment. Nourishment is Dharma. Dharma is nourishment, and this is about moving towards your wholeness. So, not hiding. Are there parts of you that you are hiding? Are there parts of you that don't feel safe to fully express or be seen or heard yet? This is why we need community. It's why we need guidance and holding. Witnessing is vital for our healing and transformation process. We do not heal alone, and we cannot grieve alone. We cannot transform and awaken alone. The witnessing is vital. There is something so profound about having a village behind you, a community, a team, a tribe, a family, if you will, a sangha that supports you, that witnesses, mirrors how divine you are, how acceptable you are, how loved you are, how safe you are. And so many of us have not had that, especially when it comes to our gifts and our inner wisdom and our spiritual orientation. And we need to orient towards that safety and that knowing. I'm safe, I'm supported, I am held, I'm seen, I am grounded in this trust that is within me. And I have people surrounding me who are not only doing the same for themselves and their own path, but they also see that in me. So our relationships are vital. And I can't tell you how many times I have met a woman who is trying to open, awaken, blossom her gifts, her inner wisdom, and her strength and her spiritual understanding, her spiritual taproot. And she tells me that her partner doesn't support her, or the family members can't honor the special gifts and wisdom that she has. There is something that many women face on the path, and that is not having the nourishing, supportive relationships around them, surrounding them, and really encouraging and cheerleading their path and their purpose. And this is a very, I'm going to use the word dangerous. This is a dangerous thing on the path. When we have relationships that are actually stunting our growth, it keeps us in the cocoon rather than the metamorphosis of transforming out of the cocoon and, spreading our wings and flying, soaring in this life. So the second thing I want to invite you to consider is where your relationships are supporting you and what relationships are truly supporting your wholeness, and what relationships in your life are actually detrimental, harmful. Maybe they are sucking energy and life force rather than giving or supporting or encouraging or giving life force energy. Where are these relationships that don't actually see you for who you really are? Maybe they can't see it in themselves, so they certainly can't see it in you. But again, recognizing that this is problematic for your path and causes immense grief, in fact, because there is a inner knowing on some level that if you grow and you change and you transform, this relationship might not be able to come with you and transform with you. And this is one of the reasons I see women stunting their growth and not taking steps towards their nourishment, their wholeness, sharing their gifts and wisdom in this world. Relationships are key. And this brings me back to the importance of community, the importance of having the mirror surrounding us and constantly supporting and encouraging. This is who I am. This is good. This is normal. This is healthy. I should be speaking up. I should be shining brightly in this world. I should be sparkly and amazing because that's who I am. And I deserve to have people surrounding me who see this in me and want this for me. So this brings me to my third point here, which has to do with the ego identity shift. Inevitably, when we declare our Dharma, when we declare, I am ready for nourishment in my life, I want more nourishment, I deserve wholeness, vitality, abundance, and joy, it requires an ego identity shift. Some part of you must die, transform, change, release in order for you to grow, awaken, and blossom. You cannot have one without the other. And so often I meet women who are ready for the opening, but they haven't fully attended to the closure and the grief that is involved with the closure. If you declare you are becoming something new and creating a new sense of self, life, and purpose, it means that part of your old identity is changing and needs to change. There's going to be a part of you that transforms, that releases, that has to be let go of in order to make space for the new. And so the ego identity shift means that you're birthing something new, but we have to attend to the sadness or the feelings, the emotions that come with stepping into something fabulous and new. And it's about holding both. It's about honoring this and that in this process of awakening and blossoming, we're exploring the wholeness of our being, which is both grief and joy. It's life and death. It's dark and light. It's waxing and waning. And of course, nature supports us and encourages us and mirrors to us this beautiful wholeness. In her completion, in her wholeness, we can discover and awaken our own wholeness. But we can't just jump over the release and the letting go without being lopsided. And sometimes that's what happens when a woman comes to me for Dharma mentorship, is it's actually about doing some cleanup. That the declaration has been made and it's been here for a while. I'm ready. I want the nourishment. I want vitality, life force energy, joy and pleasure. I'm ready to share my gifts and wisdom in this world. But we've got some stuff hiding in the closet over here that hasn't been fully digested, released, integrated, or transformed. And it's clogging the channels. So undigested grief might be keeping you stuck, and it might be keeping you from having the space in your body and life for the new. And that's where we need to be honest with ourselves and create the space that is required for something new to arrive. This is also why community, guidance, holding, support, mirroring, and reminders consistently are so important. We can get stuck in the birth canal and we may lose that sense of strength and trust and knowing. And it requires some holding, some hands, some guidance to remind us of our own light and our own strength so that we can birth fully. And that's a big part of what we do in Dharma mentorship. This is about supporting your blossoming and having community, a beautiful group of women who are like hearts and minds, who are in their own journeys of birthing and blossoming and transforming and shifting in profound ways and sharing their gifts and wisdom in this world in brilliant ways, bright ways, and significant ways. And it's truly such an honor to work with the incredible women that I walk with. I am inspired constantly by their vision, their beauty, their creativity, their mysticism, all the spiritual insights and wisdom that they embody. And I want to invite you to join us. We are an incredible group of women. This Dharma mentorship group that I cultivate and hold and support is powerful. And we are a group that is creative and vital and mystical and poets, artists, dancers, spiritual wise women who are bringing their light into the world in wonderful ways. And I want to invite you to join us. This month, I have some application spaces open, and you can book into my calendar to start the application process and declare your readiness. I'll post the link above this video so that you can read more about what we do in Dharma Mentorship and what you can expect. We have weekly classes, harvesting classes, and rituals to support your blossoming and transformation. You'll have an amazing group of women to walk with, and you'll have my personal guidance, holding, and support, as well as my co-coach, Payel, who is also tending to the circle and bringing her brilliance into the group as well. And we meet weekly, as I said, and so there are multiple places where you can receive holding and support. There's also online modules and tools that can guide you through the process. We work from feet all the way to head. So each module of the process is supporting a body-centered awakening process. We tend to the personal mythology of each body part and support the transformation through each body part. For example, January and February are all about feet and legs. So safety, stability, and support. And so we're attending to the personal mythology around safety, stability, and support, and all the ways that we are opening to safety, stability, and support, and closing to the grief or the trauma or the challenges that we've experienced around safety, stability, and support. And we go through the entire body until we reach the spiritual body. We're tending to ancestral relationships and the relationship with the ancestral body. Again, working with wholeness means that we are honoring physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. We are not doing a lopsided process where the spiritual body gets tended to, but the physical body gets avoided or neglected. So we want to be mindful that in this intention of wholeness, that we're really honoring all the layers of our body. And that includes being mindful of what needs to be released and grieved in order to make space for the new. And a big part of this journey is the transformation of undigested grief, emotion that might be clogging the channels. And some of this is ancestral. In fact, a lot of what we are working through in this lifetime is ancestral emotion, ancestral undigested grief. And you may find that there's some of that in your process, and it might be what's clogging the channels of you stepping into your power and your purpose. So we may be honoring some of those pieces. We also have to attend to the collective. There's collective grief that is influencing us, especially at this time. There's a lot of collective grief emerging that is shaping us and reshaping us and inspiring new ways of being and body and life. So honoring the wholeness means so many different things. And of course, this is an individual path, and it is supported through my personal guidance and the group guidance and support. This Dharma mentorship process is designed to support you in your blossoming, to support you on your spiritual journey of awakening, so that you can declare and affirm your precious gifts and shine brightly in this world. And I can't wait to meet you and to see you join us in the coming year for this year-long Dharma mentorship process. And I'll post the link above this video so that you can look at what happens in Dharma mentorship and see our schedule and our curriculum and book in for a chat in my calendar. This is the application process. We do have some applications still available right now, some openings, still a few spots available in our group, and I'll look forward to meeting you very soon. Let me know if you have any questions, and if you're curious about joining us, let me know what questions you have, and if this is the right process for you right now. I'll love to hear from you and hear your questions, and also what you learned from this class today. We covered several important pieces of the Dharmic path, ways that we get stuck, but also why it's so essential that we have community holding and support as well as personal guidance. And it's why I've created the Dharma mentorship process. So I'll look forward to seeing you soon in session, and have a wonderful day. Happy solstice.